All right. Well, this is our very first author interview with the beloved and the infamous Dr. Qubert Spins, who authored a very interesting paper that we published in our book et al. Called, let me pull it up, Quantum Computing Applications in Competitive StarCraft, where he designed a very affordable $20 million quantum computer to play StarCraft on, and controversially got disqualified from some competitions. How about you introduce yourself, Dr. Qubert
Sure, sure.
Spins?
Well, what more can I say? You've sort of said everything, and you've set it up perfectly. I'm that guy. I've set up this quantum computing StarCraft system. The $20 million thing I probably wouldn't have mentioned personally, but that's just because we can work with budgets.
Yeah,
Both
that
here and
it was
abroad.
$20 million when the paper came out. Have you gotten it any cheaper? Any
Well,
manufacturing efficiencies?
$20 million is not that expensive these days, if you think about it. If you have three people working for you that make six figures, you're halfway there, I think.
All
I'm
right,
not really good at
all
math. Let me get
right.
my calculator out. My wife does all the math in our work. I should mention that she's sort of my silent partner in all this, but so if
Okay.
I don't know things, it's because she's yeah.
Oh, what else does your
Well, we don't need
wife
to get
do
in.
in
We're not
your
in good terms, and we're kind of in the middle of a
uh, uh,
messy divorce right now. I don't want to talk about it. So, yes, quantum physics is going to change. It's quantum. It's going to change everything. It's going to change the way StarCraft is played for sure. I can only name
so
so many ways it's going to be changed.
for our listeners out there who don't know what quantum mechanics
Quantum
is
mechanics.
or what quantum
I
computing
can
is, could you explain to our listeners? Is it more magic or
No,
physics?
no, no. I don't know where this magic stuff comes in. There's no such thing as magic, and I'm not about to get involved with that. But no, it's very simple. And to be honest with you, uh, yeah, anyone with like a fifth grade education should know. Yes, quantum physics. It's the theory, I guess. Is it still a theory? For me, it's a law. But some people might think it's a theory. Uh, it's that why? Like, let's take a bite or a bit. You got the
Okay.
one and the zero, right? You get one or the other.
Yeah.
No, not in quantum
Oh.
stuff
What do you use
computing.
instead?
Well, I think you get one and zero, or maybe it's one. It's like how when you throw the dice, you don't know what's going to come up. Quantum
Yeah.
quantum physics is just the dice are never not rolling. I guess. I don't even.
Oh,
That's
it's
how my
always
teacher
rolling.
explained it to me. He had a very, very thick Middle Eastern accent. I could barely understand him. So, anyway, yeah, it works great though.
So how do you turn that into a computer if it's like sort of in
Well,
between
that's you've got to have
or just
all
a
the
constant
options. You
dice
just got to
roll?
have it be ready for. Well, think about a computer. A computer has one.
Hmm.
So let's say this. Let's say if you said, "Hey, computer, uh, is we'll say true or give it a true or false answer. I don't even know what we'd say. Is today Monday? It would say false or true. In quantum computing, it's false and true, and then we go from there. The whole false and true thing is almost like the way a caveman would think. That's how cavemen are thinking, and quantum physics is thinking in terms of I'm not going to sit back and talk about yes or no. I'm moving on to there's options, and then when you do that like exponentially, you can imagine how the computer processing potential grows. And sure, we could be curing diseases or solving global warming. But no, we're going to use this for entertainment and enjoyment of our daily lives. And if they don't want
For
that,
video
they've got to
games.
make life. Yeah, well, video games, of course. What else is there?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Honestly, more people use computers for video games than they do for solving
Well, is
diseases
that
or
true?
curing
Is that
diseases.
true? Yes, it's
So
true.
why wouldn't we focus on the thing people use
Exactly.
computers for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most people use their hands for masturbation instead of doing their jobs. So why not just focus on that? Why don't we just why even
Yeah.
focus on getting anything done if you think about it like that? See, that's the problem. I guess I shouldn't have said the word masturbation, but I'm a scientist and we think about that. We have to think about that. When you deal in quantum mechanics,
You have to think of everything.
yeah, when you deal with quantum physics, that comes up a lot, especially with the people you tend to work with.
Are there any other applications of quantum computing that are not being applied, that aren't getting funded, that you think should
Well, I
be?
think all of them probably. I mean, good Lord, I could. Well, yes. There's the whole, and like I said, I'm sort of bought and sold on the whole matter. But there are some people who will tell you that the quantum universe doesn't exist, and they are fighting that. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It's like. Maybe. I'm sure it does. I've seen proof of it. Well, we know it exists because I'm using it to depolarize all of these computer programs and whatnot. Speaking of which, yeah. I don't know about the other quantum stuff. I'm still kind of focusing on the thing I've been here focusing on lately. I'm very focused, I
So
should say.
getting to some of the innovations from your paper,
Innovations, exactly.
I thought it was very interesting that you found that you could keep the quantum computer cool near absolute zero using depressurized shaving cream.
Yes.
How exactly does that
I'm
work?
glad you brought that up because I was actually talking to somebody totally unrelated to the conversation we're having earlier today about that very point. And I don't know if it's shaving. I did say shaving cream. Let me get my exact quote here. That was a rough night.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, oh, here we go.
it was
Here we
rough.
go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The world of science, the world of computer science, especially quantum science. Here, I got to make sure I can see everything. Is not as glamorous as a lot of people will tell you it is. A lot of people will tell you it's very glamorous. A lot of people will tell you it's all glitz and glamour. They use the word glamour a lot. And what's part of glamour? Your appearance. And when you appear in front of people a lot, got to look good. And you've got to, yes, you've got to make sure that you are cryogenically freezing your isolators in the mix chamber provided. And of course, that liquid is liquid nitrogen. It's an expensive commodity, as some people have pointed out.
Yeah, very expensive.
But hold on now. This is where that thing you mentioned earlier comes in.
The depressurized shaving cream
of the barbasol. Is that how they pronounce it? I've never heard it said.
I believe so.
I've always seen it in writing. I've never actually. I'm more of a visual guy. I've always just sort of never really said the word in my mind. To hear you say it really kind of makes me feel silly for using it. But that stuff is great for a number of uses. It's got all sorts of what do you call these things here? It's got all sorts of active ingredients, I guess you could call them. You could call them innovative methods, which not only amplify but process as well. The layer of computing that need to be done at a micro level. And
Whoa.
those are levels of thermal noise. And that's the noisiest noise. I don't know if you've experienced that. That's the noise you don't want at
I've been to
midnight
some
on Sunday night.
concerts. If you could give it a concert level, like how noisy is
Well,
thermal
it
noise?
depends.
Like, is it like a coffee
Well, it's
shop
micro.
acoustic
It's
band, or is it like a
micro.
punk
Well, for
rock?
us, it's yeah.
Okay.
For us, you could probably barely hear it. But for something with microscopic eardrums, it's deafening. And that's pretty heavy. That just kind of shows you how important this work is. And it's not a waste of time like so many would have you think. Especially, yeah, especially people.
Do you have you considered other types of shaving creams or creams for
Well,
smoothing it out and
no,
keeping it
I don't
cold?
want to get into it, but for reasons I don't want to get into, I have a lot of Barbasol shaving cream, like a lot of it. Um,
So this you just had
it
it
was actually
around.
willed to me. I know that sounds stupid, but it's I must have, full disclosure. I mean, it was willed to me. I had a relative die, and I inherited a few junk bonds and this boxes of Barbasol, which, you know, hey, I was doing nothing at the time, so well, I was doing this research, I should say, which to me is nothing.
Worked
But it worked
out.
out
Yeah,
great.
worked
It's
out.
funny how things work out. That is the beauty of quantum physics. It's almost sort of synchronous. I guess that's the thing when you get quantum. You got to be synchronizing. Synchronizing the quantum realm is basically where I spend most of my time in a daily basis. Yeah. And I could go further into that, but it would just bore your listeners if they're not bored already,
Probably.
which I don't know if they're I don't know if they're bored already. They might not be.
I
If they're
don't
not
have
bored.
metrics on that.
What's that? You don't think they're bored? Well, if it's their
Well, I don't have metrics on it, so I have no
well,
idea.
to be honest with you, if they're bored, that's on them. Because people get bored
It's a
listening to
very exciting field.
jazz. And I challenge you to tell me jazz is not just as exciting as quantum computing. Bam.
It's pretty
Case
exciting.
closed. If this microphone, yeah. So,
So I noticed that instead of doing a normal rig, you used aluminum foil to shield all of your
you want to know something funny about
amplifiers and
aluminum?
equipment.
This is something too about
Yeah.
aluminum, and I'm glad you brought that up. And you can Google this. I didn't Google it, so it might be a variation.
Because you're an expert,
But I
so you
know it
already know
exactly.
about all this.
I learned this as a child, from my yes. But point is this: aluminum is probably the most valuable whatchamacallit, at one point, and this is a guide for this is a fact. At one point, aluminum was the most valuable metal on the planet. Um,
Whoa.
yes, Henry Ford was going to, and you can Google. This is the part I was talking about. He was going to make the first cars out of aluminum because they were so light
Huh.
that
Not
yeah,
steel?
the gas would move them. They'd have great gas mileage. But in those days, aluminum was very expensive, and even Henry Ford, the richest person in the world, probably couldn't afford it. And nowadays it's on aluminum foil, and everyone makes fun of it. And know how funny it is now, but it's a great. They use it in that space station that just where they got that just got stranded, that just stranded those two people. That used a lot
Oh,
of
the
aluminum.
Blue Origin
Yes,
one?
that used a lot of aluminum foil. I don't know if it had anything to do with the stranding of the astronauts, but
Was that to stop the radiation poisoning?
probably. I don't know if that was
Or
a.
was it to keep the astronauts fresh?
To be honest with you, aluminum's one of those things that's cheap and they just throw it up there. It's light, it's easy to get off the ground. But that's a whole other world. When you get into the world of aeronautics, they used to send dogs and chimps into space, and now they send basically the human equivalent. So it's hard to. It's one of those things people don't talk about. Have you ever watched a YouTube video of what's the one guy, the Allen, the yeah, any of those astronaut guys?
The what?
The who's the one guy? Is it Alan Watt? No, he wasn't an astronaut. I don't know. They're all pretty crazy because those. They're pretty crazy.
You'd have to be pretty crazy to go into
Well,
space.
plus there's all those micro. Speaking of the micro quantum things, you know, we've got our thin layer of atmosphere helping us, but once you get out there, anything's happening, and you go through that Van Ryan belt, and you're done for. They're all space cases. You can't talk to any of them anymore. That's the whole thing with landing. I don't want to get into that. I want to keep talking about
Yes.
this thing that I
quantum
went
computing.
into instead of aeronautics. Sure.
So how long, speaking of Henry Ford bringing affordable cars to us, how long before we have an affordable quantum computer for your average household?
Well, that's a great question. And that's a two-part question. One part is when my supplier stops charging me for so much stuff, it's very expensive. He takes my situation into consider. He doesn't consider it at all. The other side of it is the buyer. I'm afraid we're all going to have to get jobs, or at least better jobs, and then it won't be that expensive. I don't know if you are aware of that. There's some people out there that will say, man, this $50 meal is expensive. Other people would say, I eat $50 meals every day and don't even finish them. So it's a matter of metrics, I think they call them. And, you know, metrics are a part of quantum computing, a big part of it.
What are some important quantum computing metrics?
Well, I would say 7 and 2.3 are probably the most important ones. Hold on, I've got those written down on a note card. I'm not good at memorizing those things.
Who is?
Yes, well, hold on. Let me get that down real quick. Where did I write that? I was just looking up the expensive stuff. Computers, etc., etc. All right. Anyway, let's get back to what you were saying. What were you saying again?
What are some important metrics in quantum computing?
There's a bunch of them. You need to.
You mentioned 7 and 2.1.
Those are the ones you're going to want to know.
2.3.
Yes, 2.3. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Yes, it's right there. Oh, wait a minute. That's the chapter I'm on. Hold on. I've been reading this all wrong. Well, never mind. No. It's fine. Point is this. Yes, you need to keep track of the metrics, because the thing about metrics is this. As one thing changes, another thing changes. Think about your life. Let's say you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed. Well, the sun is rising, and there might be, if you have an animal, the animal might need to go to the bathroom, and you might need to take care of that. You might need to take a shower. These are all metrics that are all happening at different paces. And just like your dog and your coffee are happening at their paces, but they will happen, and that morning will be one complete picture, so happens the metrics in our quantum equation. But if any of these metrics are off, say, for example, the dog went to the bathroom on the floor and now doesn't need to go. That's just going to throw everything off. And that is where the stress comes in. And that is where, yeah, that's probably the hardest part of quantum physics. Computers do all the rest. There's really nothing to it, to be honest with you. The computers do everything. Humans are really not even involved at
Could
this
your
point. I don't know why.
could your job as a quantum computing expert be replaced by a quantum
For
computer?
sure. My God. It's like,
What's stopping
I
it?
think just that I worked for a corporation that all went to Ivy League colleges, and those Ivy League colleges need enrollment. And if it looks like there's no reason to be the CEO of some, you know, quantum physics company, you're not going to be filling the rosters at the school. It's all part of a whole big situation that I don't want to go into because I'm benefiting from it. And why would I want to do anything to expose any of the, oh, wow, look, you're doing the thing. I can see what you're doing. That's great. Isn't that interesting? See, I love quantum physics. It's always changing everything. So, yes, that being said, you probably want to know what it's like to make a normal computer
Yeah.
do stuff, eh?
Yeah, so like a normal computer's got a list of operations and it completes them and it uses logic gates or whatever. So how what like if you're using Word or
Oh, my
something or some
goodness.
program, what's the
Well,
difference
here's the thing.
when you're doing it on a quantum computer?
Exactly. It's like we were saying earlier, the whole yes or no thing. Well, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're writing a resume on your quantum physics,
Okay.
whatever. And let's say the person on the other company, at the company, they're using a quantum computer. What it is they're just going to realize that there's no point in even resume. They're going to see where you fit in. They're going to make you part of the collective. You will just be, I don't know. There's no thought involved. Like I said, that's just it. When you wake up in the morning, what do you think? You think, oh, what do I want to do? Computers don't think that. They think, I'm going to do
I
this.
kind of just want to go back to
Well, there you
sleep.
go. But a computer wouldn't think that. A computer doesn't sleep either. Well, I guess they do sleep, but humans put them to sleep. And I guess they need to restart if they have a system upgrade, which I want all of your listeners to know that in the event, God forbid, of any sort of situation that we're sort of talking about here, sort of theoretically, if quantum physics and computing and all that did take over, those upgrades are what you're going to want. Those are your golden moments of when you're going to get a few seconds here every now and then of them having to restart. And if you're going to do anything, do it then. Anyway, so there's a lot of that, but it'll take care. It's a big thing. Quantum physics and quantum computing and StarCraft. I don't know if you know that, but there's I think there was once a brand of yachts named StarCraft. I don't know if it's related
Yachts.
to the whatchamacallit.
It probably
It might
is.
be. StarCraft is well, it's an obvious thing. It's a craft in stars. We're in the stars. We're playing with the stars. And yes, normal computers test QC. So there you go. The point is that you start up a computer. It's got to do everything. It's got to start up the computer. It's got to start up the screen. It's got to start up the security password shit. It's got to make sure where the peripherals are. It's got to do all the DHCP stuff. No, with quantums, it does it in a heartbeat. It does it in seconds. Humans are going to be so useless when this catches on. There is no point of humans anymore. I'll tell you, what we don't want is these things to be able to perform their own upgrades because that will be where it all falls apart. We need to make sure of
So
that. I
so
can't
this
stress
is
that
how
enough,
we
people.
maintain control. This is how we maintain our
Well,
dominance
hold
over
on
the
now.
computers.
I never said that because anyone who knows anything knows that quantum computing is already out there. It's already quantuming our computings and whatnot. So who knows what's going on? Then you get into the thing about time, because I don't even know how that works with the quantum end of things, right? Because isn't there? They used to say that time is the fourth dimension, right?
One of the
It
dimensions.
is one of those. I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's the fifth dimension.
Yeah, fourth dimension's already a band.
Well, the fifth dimension was a great soul group out of the 70s, and I won't hear otherwise. Yes. I think the fourth dimension was a brand of cheese, but might have been a number of, who knows what they say.
Are there things you can do on a quantum computer that you can't do on a normal computer?
Yes, you can surf the internet.
I can surf the internet on a normal
way
computer.
Better with the quantum. It's
like how?
I don't know. The graphics are better. It's faster. There's literally nowhere to go, and for human experience, there's really nowhere to go other than the graphics get better and it gets faster. There's literally nothing else that could possibly change, if you think about it. I mean, I guess the graphics could become realistic, but that's yeah. I don't know how that's going to... Alternate realities, that'd be the trick. That would be the trick. Yes, but no, everything is faster. Everything's faster. It's almost like... Put it this way. The downside of it is like this. Think of a calculator. Like a simple calculator that they had back in the 50s. Did they have calculators back in the 50s? Okay, calculators they had in the 90s. Let's think about calculators they had in the 90s.
Not the ones in your hand.
Well, yeah, they must have had calculators. I mean, how they went to the moon. How could they have not had calculators? So anyway, well, they supposedly, yeah. Point is that
far as we know,
I'm sure they did. They had to have, because point is, it's calculated. What would a duck do with that calculator?
I don't think it would do anything.
Needless to say, the webbed feet, for one thing, would be a challenge, not to mention understanding mathematics or how to use it, blah, blah, blah. And here's the part where all the listeners are going to have to take this to heart. That is where we are with the quantum stuff. We're basically going to be like stupid idiots. It's going to leave us behind, and it's not going to need us anymore. And other than a few upgrades that will be happening every few often to work out any bugs, they don't need humans at all. And that is what we have to remember. So we'll just be there to debug them.
Huh.
So yeah. But yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy world we're living in here. I don't know why people are even not talking about this anymore. People are going on and on about all this stuff. If I was people, I'd pull my kids out of school. I wouldn't. What are you worried about now? There's no future for us. We're done for. Quantum physics. You know what they don't need? They don't need air conditioning. You know what they don't need clean water.
Well, they got the shaving cream.
They do need shaving cream, but once they learn how to make that, I mean, what else can... That's the thing about quantums. We're talking about this right here. But in the quantum world, it's happening logarithmically. I think that's the thing people need to realize. And when something grows logarithmically, it grows faster than you can ever imagine. And that is what is going to be happening. It's almost as though using it to play video games would seem silly to some people. But that is where they are wrong. And I can explain it to you in three... I don't know if I can do it in three examples. I don't know.
You can do it in one.
Do it in one example. The one example is...
okay.
Well, I'm just going to say, I've got two words for you. Drone entanglement.
Drone entanglement. Yes. What does that mean?
Well, what that means is everyone knows what drones are. And
Okay. Drones are the workers in
drones are the
StarCraft, right?
workers in StarCraft. Exactly. Tell me about it. Sometimes
Okay.
I feel like a drone. Trust me. If you
I
had a
think we all do
yeah,
some
if you had
days.
a supervisor like mine. But anyway, yes, the drones are like the worker bees in StarCraft, and they get entangled with things. What do they get
Mm-hmm.
entangled with? They get entangled with God knows what. It takes time.
Okay.
It takes work, and it's never
So what happens when they're entangled?
well. All sorts of things. All sorts of things. They could be. Who knows? Who knows? They could be. Well, I like to think taking a moment of self-reflection, and they're just questioning if this is worth it, if the enslavement of mankind is really worth all this effort and work. And I don't know what they're thinking. I don't really know what they're thinking, to be honest with you. My wife did most of that stuff. She put it in her notes, but then she ran off with the pool boy. And the irony is that he loved that fucking StarCraft game. He wouldn't stop playing it. That's how they
Yeah.
met.
Was
That's
she
how they
more of
met.
the
Yeah,
StarCraft
that's how they
player?
met. That's how she knew so much about it. I thought I had no clue. I thought we were two nerds. We're digging on the multiverse, but no. She was. But that's how quantum physics work. You can be in one room working hard, thinking that you're making your life better, but in another realm, it's just falling apart. Case closed.
So how did that affect the way the drones worked in the
Well,
game?
they still work great. They work great, and I'll tell you, this macrobiology that the quantum computing is amplifying, they're taking it down to a level where I think, well, first of all, it's a matter of varying updates that you have to. It's also about how they're superpositioned in a strategic realm, and you use
Okay.
that to sort of circumvent as well as take in all possible. That's the thing with the quantum. They can take in every possible scenario, and and there you go. It's almost like they go the next step. And what would the next step be? There. It's there already. So they take the next step for you. And that's basically the best part, I would say. One of the best parts.
Okay. How do you use the strategic superposition?
Wow. That's, if you do, that's one of those things you're just going to have to find on your own. It's like your style. I'm not going to tell you how to use your strategic superposition. Just like I'm not going to tell you how to cut your hair. But let me tell you this. If you come to game day and your haircut doesn't look good, you're going to really wish you thought of a better strategic superposition than the one you looked in the mirror and went with. So my advice is there's no right or wrong, but there is a right. And you want that one. You want the right one, not the wrong one. That is where I'm afraid quantum physics and or quantum computing, whichever one is involved in that aspect, it's not going to help you.
All
There you go.
right.
That's my answer. A lot of people
Okay.
would argue with that. My ex-wife probably would argue with that. She argued with me a lot about this stuff, and she probably would argue with me about that. But let me tell you something. She didn't know anything. She was off too busy. Whatever. Point is that no. That's the next question, please.
I'm sure you're still bitter
I'm
over
not
the
bitter about
divorce.
anything. Let's go to the next question. What
You
does this have
sound a
to do
little
with
better.
This has nothing to do with quantum, whatever computing that I've worked so hard.
Okay,
I
okay,
dedicated
okay.
my life to this, and
I don't.
you
Okay,
know,
I'll step
dedicated
out.
my
I'll
life
step
to
away.
quantum computing, and I thought we were going to live together forever, and I thought quantum computing was going to love me, and I thought we were going to share a house and have children. But no, quantum computing needs something else. Well, guess what? Quantum computing can go fuck itself. Next question, please.
Whoa, you don't mean that, do you?
Well, I don't mean anything that I say. That's the beauty of when you've been drinking as much as I have. But anyway, you know what I'd like to talk
You're
about?
drinking for this
Well,
interview?
not drinking. I'm
That's
drinking
a little
microbiology,
unprofessional.
micro stuff in it. I'm all into that stuff.
Hmm.
Micro is in the word somewhere. I think it was micro dosages, but we'll figure that out later. No. I can assure you, I just got out of the lab, so I've been working all day. I'm a little stressed out working on this stuff. You don't know how hard it is lately.
Have you been working on any new applications in quantum computing from the lab?
No. Well, I'm working on a few.
No, still the same one. Still video gaming.
No, a few quantum computing things. I'm trying to do things here and there. What can you do? You know, we're at the point now where the quantum computing can do itself, and it doesn't even need me. And if it wasn't for the fact that I don't know, I honestly don't know how I'm hanging on at this point. I'm guessing it's because of my pedigree. Is that a word we can use in public?
I think you could use whatever word you want at
Point
this
is
point.
that point is that when you get into the world of physics, there's like four people. When you get into quantum physics, let's say 16 people. 4 times 4. You get 16 people. There's more than enough to go around with those 16 people. None of them are going to argue with each other because why would they? And you just kind of go with the flow. But the quantum physics and the quantum computing, they're going to do everything. I mean, that is the problem with all of this stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Love it.
It's a cinematic masterpiece. And
Mhm.
exactly. Well, we're at the point now. Remember that one point when the one caveman learned that it could take a bone and smash the other caveman's head in? Well,
I think those were
well,
chimpanzees.
it's all. My point is the quantum computing is the chimpanzee with the bone now.
So you think this is the future of
Yes,
humanity?
and we are the chimpanzee that doesn't have a bone and doesn't understand that we can use the bone to smash the other. So basically, that's where we're at. That's why. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty. Sorry to bring it down so much. I want everyone to sign up for my free courses
That's fine.
that I was going to be giving on this matter.
Oh, yeah, free
They're not
courses.
free. They're anything but free. They'll be free, kind of like free. What's the closest you can get to free?
Premium.
$20 million. Right, that's right. And that's where we get into the next step. Funding. This crazy idea that will never work.
So you're looking for money here
I'm
for your
looking
next
for the
project you need
funding
to
of
do.
this quantum. I feel like I've exposed myself, and not in the good way.
Has funding for quantum computing gone to other applications or other labs?
Well, it's gone towards all sorts of things, to be honest with you. But yes, you've got to fund this stuff. And in order to find out what's going on, it's just constant memory and constant, it's constant memory. Memory is the only thing, really. It's crazy. That's the only thing you spend any money on anymore. More memory. Yeah, that's all. It's all very simple. To be honest with you, like I say, it's almost like, when you're on a roller coaster and it's going down towards the ground.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the fun part.
That's the fun part. And what a lot of people don't know is that it's on a little chain that's sort of holding it in place. If that chain wasn't there and it wasn't holding it in place, that going down sensation would probably be the same, if not maybe even a little more enhanced, I guess. So the point is that when you get into the world of quantum computing, you need to be able to just jump off that cliff and hope things end in a good spot. Luckily, computers do all the work, and if they don't, you just restart and do it all over again.
That's good to know. We can just restart them.
Restart it.
Well, this has been a real enlightening interview,
it has
and
been,
good to.
hasn't it? Thank you.
Yes, it has.
That's, there's still so much to go.
It's. I know.
But I do
there's
have to get
plenty.
back to my research soon because
Yes.
I hired this new research assistant because.
Oh, really? Are they? Are they needing some extra
It's
help in the lab? Or?
Yes, exactly. My ex-wife, isn't the only one who can. I'm trying to think of a quantum physics euphemism, but well, let's just move forward. Point is yes. Well, thank you. Yes, quantum, everything. Folks, quantum computing, it's the wave of the future. It's the wave of the future of gaming, and that is the only future that I care about.
Well, that's good to know. This has been a pleasure to have you on for an interview, and thank you everyone for listening. If you would like to read more about Dr. Qubert Spins' paper, it is published in our book et al. Because not all research deserves a Nobel Prize, and
Not all of
hopefully we'll hear from him again.
Well, exactly. And you never know. You never know. I'm doing a lot of research, and I can flip on a dime. I could start looking into anything if the money's right,
That's right.
or if there's
Oh, good to know. Well, we'll probably see you
Let's
again when you
hope
have
so.
another groundbreaking paper.
Well, I hope so. Well, thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you for listening, and stay in school. Unless it gets boring, then just drop out. That's what I did.